Disabilities Service Unit, International Islamic University Malaysia, Madam Wan Zuraidah Abu and Ms. Goh, Malaysian Sign Language Interpreters from the Malaysian Federation of the Deaf, MFD, who is joining us online. Honorable VIPs, student representatives, members of media, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning. My name is Zarina Jan Yusuf Khan and I will be the MC for today's ceremony. On behalf of the organizing committee, welcome to the OKU DIHATIKU dialogue session with Yang Berhormat Senator Datuk Ras Adiba Radzi and launching ceremony of the IIUM Disability Grant Awareness Campaign 2021 by Yang Berbahagia Professor Emeritus Tan Sri Datuk Zulkifli Abdul Razak, Rector of the International Islamic University of Malaysia, in conjunction with the International Day of Persons with Disabilities 2021. First and foremost, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to Yang Berhormat Senator Datuk Ras Adiba Radzi for her presence this morning. Thank you, Datuk. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to begin the ceremony, let us sing the national anthem Negaraku, followed by the IIUM song leading the way. Please rise.
Let's lead the way, light in the future, share the wisdom to the spirit of Islam. Revelation and reason shall excel, shall prevail. Merging faith and knowledge, we the Khalifa, we will fulfill the amanah. Together, we make the world a better place. Forever, expand the culture of equal. IUM is to realize the meaning of Ramadan lil Alamin. mercy to all worlds, for all mankind.
Everyone is invited to be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, I now have the pleasure of inviting Brother Noor Arif Jasmine, student with autism, pursuing his master's degree in Quran and Sunnah at the Kulliyah of Islamic Real Knowledge and Human Sciences, IIUM, to recite the dua to bring blessings and barakah to the ceremony on this auspicious day. Please welcome.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما ولا تجعل اللهم فينا ولا معنا ولا من يتبعنا شقيا ولا مطرودا ولا محروما اللهم اجعل خير أعمالنا أواخره واجعل خير أعمالنا خواتمه خير أيام يوم ألقاك فيه اللهم افتح علينا حكمتك وانشر علينا من خزائن رحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين تقبل الله منكم.
Thank you, Brother Noor Arif Jasmine. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the OKU for You flagship is the initiative mainly to demonstrate that persons with disabilities or OKUs can also contribute not just to the OKU community, but also to the society through community engagements. The IIUM OKU community works hand in hand with the non-OKU counterparts and partners in achieving the objectives of this project. The flagship is in support of IIUM's agenda on Sejahtera to help underprivileged local community in line with the Sustainability Development Goals. I now have the distinct pleasure to respectfully invite Yang Berbahagia Professor Emeritus Tan Sri Datuk Zulkifli Abdul Razak, Rector of the International Islamic University Malaysia, to deliver his opening speech and to launch the OKU for You flagship initiative. Please welcome our Honorable Tan Sri.
Terima kasih Madam Zurina. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu syafil anbiya mursalin sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. La haula wala quwwata illa billah. Yang berhormat Senator Datuk Ras Adiba Radzi, Chairman of Malaysia National News Agency and also the Distinguished Fellow of the Kulliyah of Real Knowledge and Human Sciences, Associate Professor Dr. Zulkifli Hassan, Deputy Rector, Student Development and Community Engagement, Professor Rosita, Head of Disability Services Unit, the Professor Razak the owner of this place, you don't wish him, he probably be very upset for for your presence, and also Encik Yusri, long time no see, and brothers and sisters. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. First of all, thank to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving this opportunity to meet. And I think this is a very auspicious occasion given the International Day of the Disability Awareness Campaign for the university, and also in conjunction with the International Day for Persons with Disabilities, which is tomorrow. And in fact, today is also the World Futures Day that we are also celebrating in the university. This is an occasion I think that we need to reflect on of what we need to do for the future. I do acknowledge the speech that was written to me. I went through it, and I think we acknowledge the many things that you have done, but I think this is an occasion that we want to talk what we want to do for the future. The university has been for the last 2 years kind of stranded because of COVID-19, are not able to conduct this discussion with you of where you want to take this university moving forward, particularly a group of OKUs. We have been to many kuliahs, I think 7 now. Yesterday was with the Kuantan campus, and to find out what is it in the kuliah that you want us to realize for yourself, for your kuliah, and certainly for the university. It is an occasion that we want to engage you so that you can tell us exactly what you want to do, so that we can put it in the plan that everybody now will agree as to where the university needs to move in a kind of coordinated way. If we don't do this, then the kuliah will move on its own way. Sometimes there's a lot of overlap. Sometimes there's a lot of contradiction also that the university is not able to fulfill the way we want to do it in the most efficient way. And therefore, I think this time I hope the SU together with the Office of the Deputy Rector will come out with very substantive thing of how OKU needs to be moved forward as far as the year 2022 and 2023 is concerned. The year 2023 is particularly important for us because that's the time when the university is celebrating the 40th anniversary. And the 40th anniversary, I hope, will be an inflection point. We have done so much in the last 40 years, but what do we need to do for the next 40 years? And that needs a real hard work and thinking of where you want to take this university forward, particularly in the context of OKU that have been, we must admit, not being given due attention for a long time. And I think it's time for us to buck up and meet the expectation of those people who are involved in this, including people who are non-quote-unquote OKU that needs to understand this whole issue. If you don't understand this whole issue, then the OKU will not get what they are supposed to have as part and parcel of being human, as part and parcel of the university community as such. So I do plead with Professor Rosita and colleagues to work on this very quickly, because we are trying to assemble the bigger plan of what the university needs to move, and I do not want OKU to be missed out in any substantial way. It reflects back on what we do in USM. Just let me share when I was in the USM that we take this a kind of a mission for the university. It is something that the whole university gets involved. And USM, I think, is a more difficult thing to realize this because we were a military barrack. We were not an IUM, which is very built purposely for a university. The buildings are all connected with one another, and they are designed for the purpose of education. The university in USM is designed for war. The whole structure was meant for war, and we need to convert that into an educational structures. And I think that Yusri will understand this. Some of the buildings are even what would I say? You cannot renovate it because it is so thick. It is supposed to withstand a war, a bomb. So bila kita nak renovate, the contractor lari. Dia kata, I cannot even penetrate to this building because it's to withstand war, and no ordinary equipments can break it up. So it's so difficult to do this. But Alhamdulillah, USM is able to do it because of the cohesiveness of working together. And I'm a little bit envious of USM because in the last budget, if I'm not mistaken, YB, VSM is given a kind of a budget, and to move this forward, I was hoping IUM will get it. But never mind, I think we lose to a better university, but let's not give up. Let's move on and let's see how it is done so that we can also be in competition in a healthy way so that it benefits generally the whole OKU community, not only in the university, but also outside the university. And there is another dimension that I think we need to also think of. While we are concerned with our community, the people outside the university are even worse off. I know this for a fact because when we go to the rural areas, some of them will hide their children, their daughters, their son away from us because they think disability is something which is to be shameful of. And therefore they will hide their children in the bedroom or whatever so that we are not supposed to see them. And I think this is a notion again that we need to reach out for them and say, it's okay to be the OKU as long as you treat them right, as long as you make them feel as though they are part and parcel of us. And therefore, this is a long way to go. This is not something that we can accomplish tomorrow. It's a whole lifelong lessons that need to be built in. And I'm sure for those who have gone through this will realize how difficult it is. And the university needs to take this leadership role of educating people. Now we are struggling to educate people on mental health. Thanks to COVID-19, if COVID-19 is not here, we also ignore the mental health people, although the problem has been there since long time ago. But it is not given due respect because there's no death. Malaysia unfortunately works on that. Kalau ada seorang mati, then kita go gung ho. Kalau tak ada mati, it's still okay. So we cannot expect death to be a kind of an indicator. We need to be more sensitive to this and to realize what needs to be done because it has something to do with humanity, human dignity, and also humanitarian values. So I do urge that these colleagues of ours in this flagship, led by Prof. Rosita, to undertake this in a serious way so that the university can also lend its support, and particularly so now that you've got YB, Ras Adiba Radzi here, I think it's a weight that we need to leverage, whether you like it or not. We're going to use you, quote unquote, so that the understanding of OKU is something that becomes natural to us. They are not regarded as one way or another in trying to stigmatize them. They are part and parcel of us, and we need to work together as a community, particularly in an Islamic university as ours. So on that note, I hope we will use this occasion, and I'm sure there are many people who wants to help, as long as you open your door. And this one I see in Kuantan, yeah, the whole community is ganging up together in trying to make autism a kind of a specialty in Kuantan. Alhamdulillah, I just want to report we have got a special dental services just for OKU and autism. They panggil Klinik Nadi, specially trained dental people also how to handle this because they are not easy to handle when they are on a dental chair. Autism, as you know, they probably will not be able to sit still for a long time. And they've managed to do that. And I'm told the queue for these services is long because it is something that's been neglected for a long time. You're thinking of building 2 more chairs and training 2 more dental specialists just to deal with OKU. The other program, I thought they were using sound therapy to calm down the autistic student, and I think there are results showing that it is working. So there is something again I think that we can pioneer. If it's about music, and I think it's easy to handle because youngsters normally are very much acquainted to music and they love music. If the right kind of music can calm them down, alhamdulillah, there's a study that I think we are doing. So by and large, I think there is hope. There are possibilities as long as we are together on this, as long as we are clear of what we want to do, inshallah, we will arrive at the destination sooner or later. So thank you very much, YB, for making your time. And thank you, brothers and sisters, for being here. Let's dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we're given the courage. Sometimes I keep on repeating the word courage because that is something I think is very much lacking in our side. We have got problems and we prefer to bury it somewhere else other than talking about it, because we are scared to offend some other people. I mean, offending some other people on the right note is okay. When you offend people on the wrong note, then it's not okay. Yeah, talking about the rights of somebody else and somebody get offended, I am okay with it. But unless and until we do that, then nothing will change and we will get into a rot which is worse than it was before. So take this as a part of responsibility, the amanah that we normally song all the time, yeah? Amanah, amanah, amanah. But sometimes I don't find this amanah being executed the way it should have executed, particularly in the context of Rahmatan lil Alamin. Those are the pledge that we sing every time. And I think it needs to sink into us. We need to internalize it and we need to make it real, just not a song anymore. So before I go into a very emotional state, I better stop here. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bahagia Tan Sri. Ladies and gentlemen, I now would like to invite Professor Dr. Rozita Mama Amin, Head of the Disability Service Unit and the project leader of the Flagship, to present the official OKU for You logo to Yang Berhormat Senator Datuk Ras Adiba Radzi to symbolize the launching of the OKU for You Sejahtera and Islamic Outreach Flagship Project. I would also like to invite Professor Emeritus Tan Sri Dato' Zulkifli Abdul Razak and Associate Professor Dr. Zulkifli Hassan to accompany Yang Berhormat to receive the logo. Thank you, Yang Berhormat. Distinguished guests, let us now watch a special video presentation about the OKU for You Flagship. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, next we will witness the presentation of special OKU for you contributions to our special guests. It is our pleasure to invite Yang Berhormat Senator Datuk Ras Adiba Radzi to present the contributions of our guests, accompanied by Professor Emeritus Tan Sri Datuk Zulkifli Abdul Razak and Associate Professor Dr. Zulkifli Hassan. Our first guest is Adik Elwin bin Alpian under the OKU for you flagship. Our next guest is Sister Nur Keisha Humaira, anak perempuan Ramli under the OKU for you flagship. And our last guest is Sister Azwani Abu Zarin from CFS Student Kuantan. Thank you Yang Berhormat Senator Datuk, Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Zulkifli Abdul Razak and Associate Professor Dr. Zulkifli Hassan. Moving on behalf of the committee, I would also like to again invite our Honourable Tan Sri Zulkifli Abdul Razak, accompanied by Associate Professor Dr. Zulkifli Hassan, to present the Certificate of Appointment to the Disability Services Unit Advisors. Please welcome our first advisor, Major General Retired Datuk Yusri Anwar. Madam Martinelli Hashim. And Madam Nuraini Ahmad. Madam Noraini is unable to attend the ceremony today, so she will be represented by Madam Martinelli. Thank you, Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri and Dr. Zul. Our next agenda of the day is the launching of IIUM Disability Grant Awareness Campaign, or IDGAC 2021. For your information, IIUM has over 80 OKU students, 10 OKU staff, and 76 staff with OKU children. The IIUM staff with OKU children are members of the Special Parent Support Group initiated by Associate Professor Dr. Aida Mokhtar and Professor Dr. Rosita Amin in 2018. The IDGAC campaign will run from today, 2nd of December, until 11th of December 2021, with several activities lined up, such as the OKU DIHATIKU dialogue session between Yang Berhormat Senator Datuk Ras Adiba Radzi and the IIUM OKU community, which will happen shortly. A podcast with the title Dari Kaca Mata Kami in collaboration between IMAC and IIUM FM. A talk titled Raising a Miracle with IIUM Special Parents Community. A webinar on care for disability inclusion by the professional speech communication students from the IIUM Communication Division. A social media poster competition and a creative bunting design competition with the theme OKU Awareness. It is our great pleasure to invite Yang Berhormat Senator Datuk Ras Adiba Radzi to say a few words and to officially launch the IIUM Disability Grant Awareness Campaign, IDGAC 2021.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum semua. First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you so very much for inviting me. I am so at home here for many, many years, doing so many things with IUM, with Prof. Datuk Asia from before. So this is a great honor to be part of this whole event with all of you today for your campaign. And Sri, thank you so much, Prof. Thank you, Prof. And I'm very, very elated and humbled because today I know all of you are with me on the same page of empowering persons with disability in our country. And I applaud all of you for all your hard work. Datuk Yusri, all our friends out here, all of you are doing your own bit to make sure that people see us and people see our abilities and that we are treated equally and just like every able-bodied in Malaysia. As the term Keluarga Malaysia, the Malaysian family, we must make sure that we do not leave anyone behind and that we have the OKU be part of us and do everything just like everybody else. So since this is a study university, especially Mr. Tan Sri cakap tadi tu, it's made, you know, like bunkers and walls. That means that we are a strong bit of people. We are very sturdy and we are very focused, and we have to be strategists actually in doing everything that we can to empower our community. With that, dengan lafaz Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I hereby launch the IIUM Disability Grant Awareness Campaign, IDGAC 2021. Tahniah dan Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Yang Berhormat. We would like to invite Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Zulkifli Abdul Razak to cut the ribbon of the bunting as a symbol of the launching. Yes. Thank you Yang Berhormat and thank you Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Zulkifli sorry, Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Zulkifli Abdul Razak. Now we would like to invite Yang Berbahagia Associate Professor Dr. Zulkifli Hassan to present a token of appreciation to Yang Berbahagia Professor Emeritus Tan Sri Datuk Zulkifli Abdul Razak. With that, we have come to the end of the first session of the occasion this morning. Before we proceed on to the second session, we would like to invite everyone for a photography session. Okay, thank you very much. We would like to invite, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now move on to the second part of the ceremony, which is the OKU DIHATIKU dialogue session between Yang Berhormat Senator Datuk Ras Adiba Radzi and the IIUM OKU community. This dialogue session is to provide a platform for young future leaders, especially from the OKU community at the higher learning institutions, especially in IIUM, to interact with the Senator and gain valuable insights on the disability advocacy at the highest level. This dialogue session mimics the town hall setting where not only the moderators will ask questions, but the audience in the hall as well as the virtual audience can also participate in sharing your concerns and views on topics related to the persons with disabilities. To begin the dialogue session, we would like to invite Tan Sri and Dr. Zul to take a seat in front of the hall here. Thank you. And we would like to invite the moderators for today, Professor Nick Nazli binti Nik Ahmad from the Kuliah of Economics and Management Sciences, and Brother Rizwan Warisi from the Kuliah, from the Ahmad Ibrahim Kuliah of Laws. Okay, I will now pass the mic over to the moderators.
Thank you so much, Madam MC. And I hope everyone can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Okay, I think now everyone can hear me. Okay, thank you so much, Madam MC. Thank you, Prof. And a special thanks to YB Senator for taking the time to be with us today. It is such a huge honor. And honestly, I'm actually a little bit terrified to be sitting next to you. And it is such a huge honor to be in your company today. So I'm very sure that all of you know that YB Senator has done a tremendous job in voicing out the rights and protecting the rights of PWD or person with disabilities at the Dewan Negara. For instance, we can see at the recent 2022 budget that the government has allocated a huge amount, a chunk of money to help with PWD. For instance, we can see that there is allocation for renovation of building to better cater the person with disabilities. So just a friendly reminder, as aforementioned by the Madam MC, that this is a dialogue session, which means that it involves interaction between two parties, between the audience and also YB. So this is not a normal session where Q&A will be asked at the end of the session. The audience can ask the question at any time during the session. But to make things run smoothly, I will ask the first question, and then we will pass the floor to the audience to ask. Okay, YB Senator, the first question, I would like to, can you share with us some of your experience representing PWD at the Dewan Negara, or maybe your most memorable experience?
Thank you. Assalamualaikum once again. Well, I just want to share with you every time when I am in the Senate, in the upper house, obviously I feel really, really honored because, you know, they've got me to be part of the whole system of discussion, discussing policies and how best to make the disabled PWDs be part of the everyday of our community. But you know, the thing that I have to share is whenever I get a chance in there and I speak to my fellow senators, I always remind them to close their eyes and put themselves in our shoes. Try to imagine how it is to be a disabled of the 7 different categories. And obviously it's not easy for them to understand it, yeah, because they're not disabled. And then I tell them, you know, in 2030, Malaysia is an aging country. So we have to be prepared, not just the infrastructure, but also, you know, like lifelong learning, you know, how to go about as in working, how to go about as in interacting with people and things like that, and how to create more awareness of persons with disability. And I always tell them, you know, that each and every one of them in the Senate, in the upper house, each and every one of them will become disabled one day. And then when I say that, they're like, oh, you know, and I said, I was born able, I became disabled because of my accident. But some of us were born disabled from, you know, from birth. And then some of us, as we go along in life, you know, we become disabled. So I tell them life is full of surprises. Hence, we must always make sure that whatever we do, we don't forget about our community. We don't forget about PWDs because we're here to stay. And how much can people push us away? So it's very important for us to make sure that families who have children with disability, dari kecil lagi, from small, we must make sure we encourage them to go for early intervention, to see the doctors, to you know, to consult and you know, to see how best we can assist PWD children daripada kecil lagi, you know. And tadi macam Tan Sri was saying, you know, there are still a lot of parents who don't even want to tell people that they have children who are disabled, which is really not good. And they say, it's okay, we don't have to tell people that we have disabled kids because, you know, like we are around to look after them. And I said, that's not the way to go. If you're not around, who is going to be looking after us? We have to be able to do things on our own, the best that we can. Of course, some of us need more assistance, but, you know, we need to be able to make decisions as well, because we have feelings and we have wants, we have needs, and we would like to just be like, you know, the population of the earth, just like everybody else, and be treated equally and not discriminated. So those are some of the stuffs that I remind them of. But the part that I always say everybody is going to become disabled one day, that I was like, okay, it's like, don't remind us. I said, well, it's true. Life's like that.
Thank you very much, YB. Some of you may be wondering why I'm here as a moderator. I may not be a person with disabilities, but I'm a mother to a mentally impaired youth with chromosome abnormalities and mental impairment. So I very much relate to what you've been saying. If we are born normal, we would encounter disability in one form or another. So my story, it came through another person that I gave birth to. Right. So anyway, I thank Prof. Rosita for inviting me to this session. And I'm very much honored to be on the same stage with YB. We come from the same school, Bukit Bintang, yes. And so we are very much...
That's so telling our age, right?
So we are very much honored to have you here today, and I thank our rector, Tan Sri Rector, and Dr. Zul for always, providing a very empathetic environment for us to help the disabled. And of course, my good friend, Dr. Rosita, Prof. Rosita, from many years ago, all right, our good friend, and personally, I have seen the challenges that she has faced as well, because we used to go to workshops together many years ago as administrators of this university. So anyway, yes, we now have a voice. You are our voice in the parliament at the highest level, and we very much hope that you can bring with you the issues that are close to our heart. So I would like now to invite a member, any parent, Ibu Bapa. Yes.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. YB, Prof. Ridwan. I'm Aida Mokhtar. I, alongside Prof. Rosita, initiated the IIUM Special Parents Support Group in 2018. Why? Because I felt the need to bring people together, at the very basic, to share knowledge of what we know about how to cope, isn't it? How to manage our children. It's not easy, right? My son has autism. He's now 21. He started talking around 5 years old. Now he's in college. Alhamdulillah, he's doing well. Alhamdulillah. I'm so grateful for, every little single progress, in him. And I really empathize with those with PWDs who have, issues and so forth and challenges. My question is, disability inclusion is an issue all the time. And like you said just now, trying to convince people to include PWDs can be quite challenging, isn't it, right? What has the government done to support inclusion? Does the problem lie in the law, for example, because there's no fear in terms of the negative effects or implications of not abiding by the law? Is that the root of the problem? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your questions. A really good question. There's about 3 or 4 questions in one person, but I applaud you, and I'd like to say thank you for being an amazing mother. I know it's not easy. I have a son who's autistic as well. I have a husband who's now in OKU, and I'm caring for my uncle who's a cerebral palsy. So there's 4 of us in the house. It's not easy, but we're some of his best soldiers. So we have to move forward just like yourself. So terima kasih kepada ibu bapa di luar sana, parents out there who I know, air mata yang seharusnya jatuh ke pipi terus jatuh ke dalam hati. For parents, I know it's not easy. You've been crying, but people don't see it, because you've been very, very strong for us. So with that, I just want to say thank you to all the mothers and fathers out there and carers, for being there for us. It's not easy. Bukannya senang untuk ibu bapa menjaga kami, namun saya mengucapkan terima kasih kepada ibu bapa di luar sana yang begitu teguh dan tabah untuk kami. Okay, when you said what is it that is not right, I can tell you. Akta OKU 2008, the OKU Act 2008, doesn't have that power to protect us. So, we and a few of our friends who are legal advisors and lawyers, we've come together and we've come up with a new list of things that needs to be ratified in the OKU PWD Act 2008. Because right now, people can do anything to us and we can't defend ourselves. I was told before that, the earlier team that came up with the content of the Akta OKU put up a lot of points to make sure that our rights are being upheld and that, we are protected. you know. Tetapi sebenarnya akta kita ni tidak punya taring. It does not have a teeth to fight for us. I give an example. If somebody builds a building, diorang hentam kromo saja build a building. They just do whatever they want. They think, oh, okay, I'll just build a ramp. Okay, I'll put this, handrails, or I put the OKU toilet. I prepare the OKU toilet, or the parking spaces. But they don't follow the specification. Puaslah, Datuk Dr. Asiah and our team, been fighting to make sure that, to remind people, you have to follow the specs. You have to refer to Jabatan Standard, and architects actually play a very important role. For example, if you're talking about building structures and infras, to recommend and to advise the building owners on how best to do this. Because, it's very easy to build buildings, but it's even easier to build buildings which from the start that we follow everything and we don't leave anyone behind, because your buildings may look nice, but if it's not something that is accessible to everyone, then what's the point? Don't build a building. And then I always tell people, if you have a building, which is 100 over years old, for God's sake, there's so many means and ways to work on making sure that you do not touch the structure of it, but you work on making it accessible. There's so many ways to do it. So all in all, actually, is the mindset. It's very important for us to educate people and even kids from Tadika, from Kindi, to tell them first the awareness towards the different categories of OKUs in the country, in the world as well. Second is then to educate the public on and raising awareness on the different kinds of disabilities. I always tell people, especially right now after the pandemic, just because you don't see it, it doesn't mean it isn't there. Sungguh pun kamu tidak dapat melihatnya, tidak semestinya ia tiada. Setengah daripada kami mempunyai kecacatan, kekurangan yang kamu tidak boleh lihat. Some of us have a disability that you cannot see. Our friends who have rare disease, our friends who have problems internally. You look at us and you say, oh, you look fine. We're not fine. And some of us, which are under the mental category of OKUs, some of us are even afraid to even go to school, to go to universities, because people will discriminate us. When we go for jobs, say for example, people's attitude, right? They see you're an OKU, they will say, oh, the job's been taken. Oh, which category are you? If they put you under, some of my friends say, Kak, nak letak ke Kak? Kalau saya OKU mental, do I put it? Because every time when they put themselves as OKU mental, people don't want to take them. People are afraid. Actually, who are you afraid? Us or yourself? People are afraid of themselves because you know why? They don't know how to handle us. They don't know how to support us. That is why the most important thing right now is we have to work on our Akta OKU. We have to make sure that it's spruced up and it's tightened up to make sure that it can, uphold our rights. It can protect us, because now people will do whatever they want to do and they don't get penalized. People can park at our parking space and then they say, kita saman 50 ringgit. What? 50 ringgit? People can give 50 ringgit. You put there 2,000 ringgit or 500 ringgit, then they will think 100 times. And that money, you use it for the surah or the university or the buildings and stuff like that. So first is the attitude. We need to create more awareness. We need to make sure that people understand that we're here to stay. You don't mess with us. And they also need to understand that parents who look after us also have the right, to voice out, because I give an example, like right now, the parking spaces, they say that it's just for OKUs. But what if the OKU cannot drive? The parents have to drive us. And then they fight. Why are you fighting? So empathy is very important. Kita ni, this is 2021. Tan Sri, saya rasa kiranya sekarang ni sebenarnya kadang-kadang kita lupa sopan santun, belas dan adab. Itu adalah penting. We have to remember that we have to be respectful of one another, whether we're OKU or we're not OKU. So I'd like to thank parents who have been looking out for us, who've been fighting for us, slugging for us. I also would like to say that I'm going to keep on pushing to make sure that our PW Act, is tighter and can protect us, and I will continue with my media friends to create more awareness, and I will push with every ministry, because every time I see the minister, they're like, oh my God, she's here again. I will just, push and suggest. Yeah, not really a troublemaker, but always like to, come up with something. But, I always tell people, you cannot be angry. You have to use diplomacy. Sekiranya kita selalu marah, kita tidak akan dapat apa yang kita mahu. Jadi kita perlu bertolak ansur, dan the most important thing is to make people understand, because people don't. People just don't. So it's up to us to make them understand and make that change. If we don't do that, then forever it's just going to be like this.
Thank you so much, YB, for that beautiful remark. I would like to just add up a little bit, because for me as a law student, I mean, reading the PWD Act is like reading a storybook, because it doesn't even have any provision, any enforcement provision. So it's very nice to know that there are some improvement, and there's going to be like a lot more improvement. So thank you so much, YB. So we would like to invite if there's anybody else who would like to ask any question from the audience.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable Rector Tan Sri Zul, my very good friend, YB Datuk Ras Adiba.
Also a good friend, old friend.
Old friend. Deputy Rector, Associate Professor Dr. Zul, my Dean, Prof. Razak, all our guests to KAED. Actually, I would like to share my thoughts. Last week, I was in Penang. I was invited by Pertubuhan Architect Malaysia Northern Chapter. And also, there was another talk. I was invited by Majlis Perbadaran Pulau Pinang. So 2 minggu turut-turut. So I met Dr. Tune, a lecturer from USM. In one of my meetings, I was informed by him, he got 2 million allocation to improve USM. Zaman Tan Sri Good. So I was wondering, because I've been in UIA for more than 23 years. I've done a lot of access audit. Even I talked to Prof. Rosita yesterday. Prof. Rosita, kita tak payah buat access audit lah. Kita terus je buat construction. Mana jumpa, if we need to do RAM, we just straight away do the RAM. The issue is that we don't have the money to do that. So I'm wondering, if I compare with other local authorities, for example, majority of the big local authorities like Putrajaya, DBK, and so on, they have allocation for upgrading facilities for the disabled. Therefore, if, for example, in the university, we have allocation for the construction, for the development, but there is no such allocation for upgrading facilities for the disabled, because this UIA was constructed, I think, in 1990s. And majority was not designed for the disabled, especially for the wheelchair users. So we have many drops. So if you see this building, KAED, I think our dean and some of the lecturers, we do some sort of allocation, collect money and improve the facilities. So I'm thinking, if USM can have 2 million to upgrade their facilities, and also if YB di atas di apa, we can have the allocation to do the upgrading for the facilities for the disabled. Then it is a better future for us. Now it's 2021. There have been many local authorities, same issues. Even 3 weeks ago, I was with the Ministry of Education under PDK untuk sekolah pendidikan khas. So even those the buildings for them are not accessible for the existing one. So banyak issues. Kalau ada allocation khas setahun 100,000, kata 100,000, satu bangunan 3,000. Do whatever we can within the 3,000 to do RAM dan sebagainya, ataupun kalau ada toilet, upgrading toilet maybe 5 to 10,000. Itu saja YB. Kalau YB dapat bantu, I'm so happy. Thank you.
Inshallah, Datuk, I will do my best. As you all know, the government recently in the budget, we've actually come out with allocation untuk kita spruce up and improve the accessibility for persons with disability. But that universities are not really into in that list. So saya akan push for it. Mungkin saya akan jumpa Kementerian Pengajian Tinggi to see how best we can support each other. Because when we do that, then it's modal insan. we can actually look out more for students with special needs, and you can produce more amazing and talented, outstanding human beings from all our universities. Thank you for your suggestion. Inshallah saya akan usahakan. Thank you.
Terima kasih YB. We very much look forward to that. Itu bila kita bercakap tentang when we are talking about government buildings, yeah. I think Datuk Asia, you were addressing the issue of government buildings. Okay. There are also, I would like to raise the issue of facilities in general for the handicap. Kalau kita ni, if anyone can relate, di dalam sini ada kesukaran di sekolah is one ni, but yang ada di sekolah-sekolah yang di-run oleh NGOs mungkin facilities pun amat berkurangan. So mungkin ada parents or yourself, if we have PWDs in here, other facilities other than government buildings, maybe your shopping malls, maybe. So what are the challenges that you have faced with the infrastructure and the building structure in terms of movement? Maybe I think recently, maybe 1 or 2 years back, I read about Sunway Putra Mall making a day in a week that is where the mall is friendly to children with autism, because they have sensory issues, kan? And then they made that, but that's very isolated cases. So perhaps those people with disabilities here can share your experience and your aspirations to YB, regarding any facilities that you encounter, maknanya whether with hospitals, selain daripada university, what challenges do you face in terms of facilities that we can get YB to speak up for us? Either as parents or as persons with disabilities. Anyone from the audience would like to share experiences in terms of infrastructure? Yes, brother.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. I think for the question, maybe it's not something that we have realized yet, but most of our infrastructures are accommodated to physical disabled circumstances. So we're not ready to go for beyond like mental, even autism itself. So in certain infrastructures, let's say autism, they have some sensory issues to colors, right? So in some sense, we need to pay attention to that. And especially when such facilities is publicly accessible. So in this, I think we're not being too proactive enough and dedicated to go beyond that, because our facilities for the physical disabled are already a problem too. So it's not a matter of which priority, which comes first, but it must all come hand in hand together, because over time, our numbers are increasing, and this matter should not stop here. It must take some progressive efforts. That's all.
Thank you very much. You have a really big point. Yes, actually kalau kita buat the accessibility, disability equality training ni for us, we share with the public how best to get them to be in our shoes, satu, and we also share with them what are the needs, for all of us, all the 7 categories. Okay, it's very true when you say right now people are seeing just the structure for people who are physically challenged, and we forget the other categories. Okay, macam Sunway Putra tu, yes, they have days where they dimmer the lights, the sound, and then they have an area where they have a calm room for autistic persons on that spectrum. They do, and that is something for me we should encourage with all the malls, and so that they can have us be there without us losing it. That's one. Second is, you are correct. Right now, most of the structures are basically for physically challenged people. We must not forget the deaf, because the deaf, if there is an emergency, most of the time they will perish in the fire because there's no light, to alert them, and in a hotel, for example, they to order the food, they have to go downstairs to reception. When they order the food arrives, those people will knock the door. of course we don't answer because our friends who are deaf cannot hear. So, hotels as well, should also have lights at the door to say that somebody is outside. And then after that, kalau orang telephone, has flash, and then it has to have like a memo, so the message can go across. And then another thing is, for our friends who are blind, it's very, very easy for us to speak, to say, oh, ada dah tactiles. Tapi sometimes they put the tactiles, they don't teach, they don't train the people who are fixing it, the contractors. Tactiles kan dia bulat, round or straight. Sometimes they put the wrong one where you're supposed to stop, there's a wall, there's a lift, there's a drain, and there's a pillar. So, we must make sure we follow through. Okay, that's one. And then when we go to to airports, for example, now we see signage of at the toilets, huge signage of girls and boys toilet and stuff like that. People say, oh, ini design baru this is a new design. It's not for you. It's for some of our friends who cannot see or rabun, they're visually impaired in certain percentage. And then it's also for people who are autistic. They know, oh, okay. Okay, and then like sometimes they do signs or they do posters. There's so many information. So my friends who have learning disability, they're like, huh? They cannot digest those facts. So you know what? We cannot be selfish. We cannot just think about ourselves. Oh, saya nak masukkanlah semua informasi ni. Kamu masukkan semua informasi ini, tetapi sahabat-sahabat kami tidak faham informasi kamu. So you put all the information that you feel is relevant, but you don't understand. There's so many people who cannot comprehend what you're trying to say. So it's very important for us to use a lot of like logos or pictures, with a few points, so that people understand. And then it's about time for us also to make sure that we have Braille here and there and everywhere. Because I have two friends, they are shooters. One of them is with CSI Bukit Aman. The other one is special branch as well with the army. They were both born able-bodied. Halfway through their life, their eyesight degenerated. Okay, it went really down. They are Paralympic athletes. They are sharpshooters. They hold their rifle. There's a barrel in front. So, when we reverse the car, that sound. So when they hold it up, so when they go and then they pull the trigger so they can shoot. They got silver in one of the World Cup. So what I'm trying to say is we can do so many things, but we must make sure when we do it, we think about the different categories and the needs. Okay, there are a lot of gadgets to assist us. Of course, the budget we have to find, but we be like creative. If you can make budget to do events, I'm sure you can make budget to do this, right? Come on, stop making excuses. Building owners, if it's a private building, like a mall and stuff like that, it doesn't belong to the municipality. So the municipality cannot say anything. The building owners have to take it upon themselves because it's good for them. It's good CSR, and people see that they do not segregate, they do not discriminate anyone who wants to come into the building. So I give an example. This is something that I've learned ever since I've been with Kait, with Prof. Datuk Ras. Like when you go up the steps, right? Kan kita ada railing too. So there's one up there, and then there's another one down there. And then people ask me, oh, so when you walk up the steps, the railing has got 2 levels. So the level down there is just to strengthen the structure, is it? I said, no. It's for little children. It's for our dwarf friends and the hobbits, so that they can hold on to it. You get what I mean? So when we do something, we must make sure we think about all the other categories, not just physical, like you say. Tapi physical pun, the infra pun tak apa-apa. Masuk toilet, pintu tak boleh nak tutup. Go in the toilet, we can close the door. There was one time I was in the toilet. The toilet was nice and big, but usually our toilets become storerooms, and then when we go in, I went in and then I transferred from my wheelchair to the toilet bowl. Suddenly I heard somebody snoring. And I'm like, huh? And then I saw a lady sleeping on the floor behind all the boxes and everything. And then I said, Kak, I'm sorry, but I need to go to the toilet. She said, tak apalah, kau buatlah, Kak dah biasa. It's okay, you go ahead and do your thing. I'm used to it. You can, and I'm like, you're used to it. I'm not used to it. It's as if we don't have any feelings. It's as if kita ni tidak ada hak. So we got to stop. First, mindset has to change. We got to stop, breathe, see what we're doing. We have to make sure our planning, make sure that we put into consideration the 7 categories of the disabled. And autistic kids, they need pastel colors. It's calming for them. You put red and white, it's like, and then when you do, say for example, sometimes they have all these decorations and everything, and it's got like strobing lights, flashing lights. That's a no, because some of us will get a seizure. So little things like that, people forget. There's 7 of us, 7 categories of us, I'm sorry. So we must make sure we don't forget the little units and the little things to make sure that everybody feels part of the community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, YB. This relates to me so much because actually, even though I look normal, but I actually have visual impairment. I have low vision and I can't see really well. So
can you see me?
It's quite blurry, but
Shadow.
I can hear you. I rely solely, it's like 80% I rely on auditory. So I just want to give like some experience. Especially in UIA, in this place, it is very, it's hard for me to like walk on stairs when they don't have contrasting colors. I can't.
Contrasting colors,
Yeah,
yes.
they don't have contrasting colors. So these are the things that people don't know until you experience it. And also at the airport, the fact that they change from they turn off the announcement and then we have to rely solely on the notice board. So it is very difficult for me because I have to hear the announcement. Which flight is coming, when is my flight? So I know, it is for the better of majority, but don't leave the minority behind.
I will work on that, I promise.
Okay. On that note, is there any question from the floor? We can't hear you.
It's not on. Okay, I think it's on. Huh? Just blow on it. Can you? In the batteries.
Hello.
Oh, I got.
Hello. Okay. YB.
Saya.
Soalan pertama saya. Kita ada banyak pusat-pusat untuk OKU, pusat autism dan sebagainya. Dan kebanyakannya adalah private yang kos dia agak tinggi. Ya, untuk orang-orang biasa ataupun asnaf untuk menghantar anak mereka. Saya tinggal di Gombak, ada beberapa orang anak asnaf yang tidak mampu masuk ke pusat demikian disebabkan harga yang terlalu mahal. Adakah pihak Jabatan Kebajikan merancang untuk membantu persoalan ini? Itu yang pertama. Soalan yang kedua, pusat-pusat yang ada di seluruh negara sekarang, saya dah visit beberapa buah pusat. Cuma persoalan saya, ada tak pihak berkuasa melakukan audit di pusat-pusat ini tentang praktis yang dilaksanakan oleh guru-guru ataupun fasilitator yang menjaga kanak-kanak tersebut. Contohnya, adakah mereka selamat dari penderaan dan sebagainya. Saya harap ada, tapi ada saya dengar juga lah komplain daripada ibu bapa bila anak-anak mereka didera. Yeah. Soalan yang ketiga, about the rights of our PWDs on the spiritual part. Yeah. Anak-anak biasa boleh mengikuti kelas kafa contohnya. Tapi anak-anak OKU ada limitation untuk itu. Adakah pihak kerajaan memberi perhatian tentang kekurangan yang ada sekarang? Okay, soalan yang terakhir tentang masjid-masjid di Malaysia yang bukan OKU friendly lah. Di mana-mana saja sangat tak banyak masjid yang ada facilities untuk OKU. adakah pihak kerajaan terutama JAKIM lah memberi perhatian tentang keadaan yang ada sekarang? Sekian, terima kasih. Assalamualaikum.
Salam, terima kasih. Soalan-soalan tu sebenarnya memang relevan sangat dan ialah menteri-menteri seharusnya work on it. Saya terus terang saya katakan saya akan usulkan kepada mereka ketika saya bertemu di parlimen nanti. Yang pertamanya yang tadi mengenai taska, PDK tentu sekali JKM monitor. Taska-taska ini semua ni ataupun tempat sekolah-sekolah untuk keperluan khas ni sepatutnya yang membuat audit dan memantau adalah JKM. Namun kita tahu sekarang ini banyak perkara yang berlaku seperti penderaan terhadap adik Bella. So sebenarnya satu it's not easy, bukannya mudah untuk mendapat lesen kerana JKM kena pastikan yang menjaga tu diorang semua tu go through the process, prosedur-prosedur dan dia kena go proper training. Tetapi ada juga yang membukanya tanpa menunggu lesen pasal terlalu lama, pasal ramai orang yang memerlukan. Okey, jadi ini adalah an ongoing problem sebenarnya, sampai ada yang turun naik mahkamah juga. Tetapi saya akan usulkan juga kepada Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Rina, bagaimana cara yang terbaik untuk kita memberi sokongan kepada taska-taska ataupun pusat-pusat khas yang yang swasta ni. Tentu sekali kerajaan akan memberi sokongan apabila mereka melalui proses-proses latihan, dan mereka akan memberikan dana juga bukan sahaja kepada pusat asuhan untuk anak-anak OKU tetapi juga untuk warga emas. Mereka ada memberikan dana. Jadi apa yang saya sarankan adalah pada mereka untuk write a letter, appeal untuk meminta grant. Diorang ada juga beri seperti juga Independent Living Center. Okey, itu satu. Namun begitu pemantauan tu saya terus terang katakan bukannya sesuatu yang mudah. Kerana banyak sangat yang buka secara kecil-kecilan on their own kerana mereka desperate dan saya faham. Jadi kalau kita nak buat sebegitu, kita kena still go through that process. Jangan kita tidak melalui proses itu. Memang sukar. Saya sarankan kepada semua senang untuk kita berbicara, tetapi yang kalau kita nak buat sesuatu, kita mesti buatnya sendiri. Kita jangan harapkan kepada kerajaan sahaja, tetapi kita minta tulis dan minta sokongan daripada NGO lain ataupun pihak swasta. We cannot just depend on the government, and we also cannot work in silo. So networking is very important. Waktu inilah. Seterusnya mengenai kelas-kelas agama. Betul, saya setuju sangat kerana kita mesti pastikan OKU daripada semua kategori diberi kemudahan, sokongan untuk mereka mengikuti kelas-kelas agama mereka. So saya akan usulkan juga dan berbincang juga dengan Yang Berhormat Menteri untuk bagaimana kita boleh memberi sokongan and have perhaps more schools or maybe more classes for OKUs yang memerlukan. And then tadi yang Puan cakap tu yang pasal mahal, the school fees, yes it is crazy expensive. Dan memang ramai yang datang pada saya dan kata, Senator, kita orang tak mampu nak bayar macam mana. So benda-benda macam ni, that's why I say we have to work as a team. Jadi kita kena beritahu satu JKM daerah, kita kena beritahu penghulu kita dan kita punya community tu mesti erat dan kita bincang macam mana kita boleh membantu satu sama lain. Saya sangat kesian kepada ibu bapa yang ramai pasal satu tu dah lah mahal, habis tu sekolah macam sekolah autistik pun tak cukup. Jadi sekolah-sekolah khas pun tidak cukup, you know, dan PDK yang ada pun tidak banyak. Jadi it's an ongoing struggle for us, but all I can say is kalau kita nak sesuatu, go for it, appeal, ask for it, let people know that we need it. You know, and don't expect things to fall on our lap. Jangan harap juga sahaja kepada kerajaan. Kita bersama juga dengan macam klub-klub yang lain, ya, Interact, Rotary dan Kiwanis. Kita bersama dengan syarikat-syarikat swasta yang lain to come in. I'm not sure whether I've answered all your question. I have to tell you, I have sewaktu saya kemalangan, I had I was in a coma. I was thrown out of my car. So whenever people, I cannot remember things most of you. So saya kena go one by one. So selalu kalau orang tanya soalan, saya kata, okay, soalan 1, 2 dulu boleh. Kalau ada soalan 5, 6, saya macam okay, dah lupa. So I hope I've answered you. But you know, I'm always here. I'm accessible to everyone. So sekiranya kalian ingin berhubung bersama saya, boleh juga kepada PM saya di Messenger, di Twitter, di Facebook, di Instagram. Saya tahu ada antara kalian dekat dalam ni nak tanya banyak soalan, tapi macam kadang kita segan, tak tahu whether soalan itu sesuai ataupun takut it's too petty. So I'm here, you know, if you need anything, saya cuba sedaya saya. Terima kasih.
Okay, thank you very much, YB. Okay, I think time's up. Am I right? One question. Okay, all right. So we will allow. Yes, I see one hand.
Okay, Assalamualaikum Yang Berhormat.
Sorry.
So on behalf of the students who participated via online, Brother Nasrul. So this is the question from Brother Nasrul, right? So I just ask on behalf of Brother Nasrul. Masa saya bekerja dulu, they treated me like I'm not OKU, but then they discriminated me with unfair treatment by the means of most of the time my boss watch me like a hawk. Like macam saya ada buat salah pula setiap hari. So my question to Senator Ras Adiba, is there any employment law or anything that we can do so that there is no one left behind due to this discrimination? Thank you.
Thank you. That's a very good question. Okay, remember I said just now about the PW Act, that one needs to be fixed. But if you feel that you're being discriminated, please bring it up to Sumber Manusia so that your voice is heard. I have to share with you, sewaktu saya menjadi OKU, saya tidak bekerja 6 tahun. Dan dalam 6 tahun itu, I keep going back to my employer to say, I can still read the news or I can still speak, you know, I can do normal things except I can't walk. So give me a chance. It took them 6 years. So, but I didn't give up. I kept at it because in the end they were tired. But that process is so stressful, especially kalau kita ni dah belajar tinggi, kita banyak experience, kan? Lepas tu orang buat sebegitu. Dan kita ni kadang-kadang, saya pernah datang nak pergi kerja, saya pergi nak pergi Tembun Duga tu start jam 9. Pukul 8.30 saya dah sampai. So saya dekat security tu, saya cakap dengan security tu yang saya nak masuk untuk buat interview. Dia nampak saya, dia kata, oh, the job has been taken. I was like, kata interview pukul 9. Macam mana job has been taken? Dia buat begitu pasal dia tengok saya OKU. Okay? Dan ramai juga kawan-kawan kita yang ada master's degree, yang ada doktor, dapat kerja, habis tu jadi kerani. Jadi pegawai biasa-biasa, and don't give us the opportunity to do and the specialization that we're in. So that's already a discrimination. So kalau sekiranya perkara itu berlaku, saya pohon sahabat-sahabat semua, bring it up, go to the press, come to me. You know, we have to highlight it. Kita jangan bagi muka pada orang yang macam tu. Kenapa kita nak bagi muka kat diorang? Diorang tu boleh berjalan, boleh bercakap, boleh berfikir seperti biasa. Kenapa diorang tidak boleh faham yang kita ni pun ada hak untuk bekerja? Saya kalau cakap macam tu, saya marah sangat. Because 6 tahun saya tidak bekerja, saya tidak ada duit. Ibu bapa saya, ahli keluarga saya tidak tahu. Dia ingat saya bekerja pasal saya sulung. So saya nampak je saya okey. Tiap kali dia orang jemput saya makan, saya pergi makan rumah dia orang. Saya tidak ada duit nak makan pun. 6 tahun saya makan nasi dengan garam dan saya minum air paip. 6 tahun. Jadi saya tidak mahu sesiapa melalui apa yang saya lalui. Jadi kepada sahabat semua di luar sana, sekiranya kalian rasa diri kalian ditindas, didiskriminasi, keluar, bangkit. Jangan bagi orang buat apa-apa sesuka hati terhadap kita. Saya marah. Orang kata, oh senanglah dulu dia begini begitu. Kamu cakap apa? Kamu tidak tahu. Kamu tidak melalui apa yang saya dan sahabat-sahabat saya lalui. Sahabat-sahabat saya jangan cerita pasal kerja. Kalau cerita pasal orang buta, nak naik train kadang-kadang ada ruang jatuh. Habis tu diorang dah hafal jalan-jalan, kita cerita pasal infra juga. Lepas tu jalan-jalan tu hari ni longkang tak ada, lubang tak ada, besok dah ada. Jatuh kat dalam tu, 3 hari tak jumpa. Ada kalanya mati. Kawan-kawan saya nak pergi parking, park kereta. Kawan saya di luar negara, park kereta. Patutnya parking space tu ada di depan itu orang yang bukan OKU parking. Lepas tu kawan saya park kat tempat lain, dia tolak kursi roda dia dilanggar, mati. Jadi sekarang saya nak cakap semua kawan-kawan di luar sana, ibu bapa dan anak-anak OKU dan OKU semua sana, enough is enough. Do not allow people to bully you anymore. Stand up for your rights. Voice out. And then sekiranya mereka tidak mahu dengar, go to the media. Come to people like me. We fight. We have to fight. This is our right. This is 2021. For God's sake. Nobody should be treating us like we tidak ada maruah. People have to stop. Orang mesti tahu yang kita ni manusia. Kita ada hak. Kita ada perasaan. You know, and kita ni belajar, bertungkus lumus belajar di universiti. Lepas tu nak cari kerja, orang tak nak bagi kerja. Satu. Lepas tu kawan saya ada seorang. Dia sudah bersara daripada PDRM. Dia dulu helikopter pilot. Okay. Helikopter dia terhempas ketika beliau di Australia. Balik kerja dengan PDRM. Alhamdulillah diberi sokongan. Masih terus bekerja. Alhamdulillah. Tetapi antara mereka yang bekerja dengan dia mempersendakan beliau kerana macam saya dan beliau, ya, kami tidak boleh duduk lama. Kita sakit. Saya bercakap dengan kalian, setiap saat saya buka mulut dan buka mata, saya dalam kesakitan. Tapi saya masih bangun, saya masih terus berusaha, saya masih terus bekerja. Kerana kalau saya tidak buat begitu, orang akan kata, alah, duduk je saja di rumah. Kawan saya ni, helikopter pilot. Dia bekerja dengan PDRM, Alhamdulillah. PDRM cuba beri sokongan sebaik mungkin. Tetapi the subordinates, mereka yang bekerja sama dia, make fun of him, put him down. Alah, engkau ni asyik sakit je. Engkau ni asyik itu, engkau ni asyik ini. Engkau tu bukan aku. Engkau tidak tahu pasal aku. Engkau jangan sesuka hati, you know, like think that I'm okay. You know, so what I'm trying to say is, guys, out there, you're listening to me, you're watching me. Now listen to me very hard. Fight. But when you want to fight, when you want to be there and tell people what is the thing that is frustrating to you, you know, please be diplomatic. When you are going to get angry, you know, strategize everything. Datuk Yusri selalu cakap, kita mesti seperti askar. Kita kena strategize apa kita nak buat. Kita jangan pergi situ, you know, nak menjerit-jerit, nak tunjuk itu, marah itu. Tidak boleh. Sekarang, it doesn't work that way. You want change? Plan, strategize, inform. You have the right. You have the right, all OKUs have the right in this country to stand up for yourself and to have your voices heard. But in order for you to do that, you must make sure you know what you're talking about. You must make sure you prepare your facts correctly, okay? And then you go to the right places. Kita tak nak juga orang ketawa pada kita. Kalau kita nak buat sesuatu pembaruan, kalau kita nak buat sesuatu yang bagus, bukan sahaja untuk diri kita, kepada komuniti kita juga, kita kena pastikan kita guna minda kita. You cannot just get angry and shout and shout and shout. It doesn't work that way. Strategize, think, plan with your friends. Don't work in silo, work in a team. Then you will get your voices heard. Dan terus saja kepada media. Jadi diorang akan segan. Diorang akan tahu yang kalau mereka tidak beri sokongan kepada kita, nanti diorang pun akan susah. It's not good CSR, PR for them. It's not good PR for them. So let's do this together. We get angry, but we focus our anger, you know, and come out with something which is which will come out with results. Jangan saja kita nak marah-marah. Kita marah tu, kemarahan tu bagus because kita akan fokus. Tetapi we must make sure that we strategize well and speak well. Sorry, you wanted to speak just now, right? Did you come to my concert yesterday? Yes, that's right. Thanks for coming. Okay, boleh saya bagi sahabat saya seorang lagi untuk ya, ada mikrofon? Tak, maaf, saya ni kalau cakap begini macam dalam Dewan Negara.
Hello.
Hi, it's good to see you again.
Yeah. Yeah. First of all, I want to say thank you.
Thank you.
You have spoken on behalf of the rare disease community and advocated for us in the parliament ever since you started, and I have to say thank you very much. And we've actually worked with I together in 2018, 2019, and it's always been a pleasure working with you. But on behalf of the Majlis Belia OKU, I would like to ask, I guess it's kind of a difficult question. It was just announced that the age limit is for the youth is 30, and it will be implemented in January 2022. And I believe that not many people understand that this will affect a lot of people, especially the youth for PWDs. And so my question to you,
when you say 30 is for athletes or?
it's all youth. Yeah, so basically my question is, what are your plans to ensure that the youth of PWDs will not be affected by this age limit? Because we believe that our development and progress for the youth is very different, and it should not have an age limit of 30, because it will affect things like even like the scheme penjagaan belia or the scheme perumahan belia OKU and things like that will be affected. And as of Majlis Belia OKU, we are new, we just started, and a lot of our members are 30 and above. And so I feel like this was not really thought out, and it wasn't, and we weren't how do I say this, not thought of when they were discussing about this.
So what you guys suggest the age limit be, about 35?
What is the age limit? What is the age limit? What would you want it to be?
Now it's 30 kan?
So basically what we want is for it to be a bit old, 35, 40, because most of us are either reaching 30 or are already 30. And for a lot of the youth, especially the younger generation, with the disabilities that we have, it's not always easy to advocate. And so we rely on things like this to advocate for us. And if you put the age limit to 30, then it's going to affect us in many ways that I don't think people understand.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you, and you have a really strong point. You are correct. Just now when I asked you whether you were speaking on, you were referring to athletes. I have to say the same thing as well. A lot of athletes, diorang minta supaya kita punya age tu, especially yang apa ni, sukma athletes, to increase it, yeah, so that they can be able to participate. Because ialah kita punya keperluan kita berbeza dengan orang yang bukan OKU. So okay, I will work on this and see how best we can increase it, because you are right, because kita 30 ni kita baru masih tengah trying to find the grips and trying to get things done, yeah, because of our condition. So saya akan sarankan supaya kita dapat increase insyaAllah. Namun begitu saya sekiranya tidak keberatan, maybe you guys can also send to me your suggestion so that I can push it to the relevant ministries. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, wonderful.
Right, thank you.
You're most welcome. And thank you for coming to watch our show yesterday.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Okay, one more. Okay, last one, yeah.
Last one.
Yeah.
Actually, we are out of time, so can you make
Okay,
it very, very
sure.
quick one? Thank you.
Assalamualaikum YB.
Salam.
Saya Ashraf daripada MB OKU dan selaku pengurusi korporasi My OKU. Saya nak tanya untuk perancangan YB tentang belia dan pembangunan OKU lah untuk jangka masa selepas usia 21 tahun sehingga dia membesar dengan mencari income lah. Dan apa peranan dan cadangan YB untuk belia ni terlibat secara langsung di dalam koperasi bagi memperkasakan beliau OKU ini di dalam struktur kehidupan yang lebih baik di jangka masa panjang lah. Terima kasih YB.
Weh, itu dah 3 soalan tu. Thank you very much. Okay. Sebenarnya actually sekarang ini we are working very hard to get belia to be more involved in a lot of the activities. Satu dengan koperasi, kita pun nak buka yayasan kita kan, Prof. Rosita. So saya punya beberapa orang sahabat yang bersama kami di mana kami discuss mengenai keperluan bukan sahaja belia tetapi juga OKU secara amnya. Jadi kami akan discuss about this dengan Professor Rosita, dengan Datuk Yusri, dengan sahabat-sahabat kami yang lain untuk see how best we can forward to make sure that kita have this belia part of the koperasi and so that we can empower them. Jadi sekiranya kalian semua ada juga paper, boleh juga kongsi bersama kami. Kami juga bersama dengan sahabat-sahabat daripada JCOM, Dr. Ruziah, Profesor Aizan, Dr. Shatish, dan Dr. Hasnatoran. So kami akan try our best to incorporate and to make sure that everybody gets empowered and lifted in their own units. Yeah. Jadi insyaAllah. So please share with me some of your suggestions and papers so that kami cuba work on it. Thank you very much. Terima kasih semua.
Thank you, YB. I think unfortunately it has come to an end. We've got to move on, but whatever it is, I think it was a very inspiring end to
Sorry, I'm always very emotional when I'm
inspiring,
speaking.
Session that we've had with you, and I'm very grateful for your time and your sharing, and daripada peserta semua. We're very grateful for your support and coming and posing your questions. Definitely it's going to be a long and winding journey.
Yeah, but it's going to be a fun journey. If we do it together, we work as a team, it's going to be a great journey.
So YB, I think the keywords are, if I were to follow from you, strategy, fight, and together, right? Teamwork, collaboration, and we can do it together. So persons with disabilities, parents and families and caregivers of disabilities, our representative in the parliament and all of us play a very important role of working together. And this dialogue is one of the many things that will help move things in the future. Yeah. So thank you very much all. I think I will pass now to the MC.
Right, thank you so much, YB, for the very inspiring dialogue. And we could feel your enthusiasm. This, we can feel it. And even for the non-OKU people, we feel very inspired with what you have said. And inshallah, we will all help together to make sure that our brothers and sisters who are going through the problems, we try to solve together, inshallah. As mentioned by Dr. Nick just now, there are three things that we could gather from this particular dialogue. Number one is fight for your rights, don't give up, and strategize your plan. Inshallah, I think with these three elements that we can, work together on, inshallah, we will be at a better place, inshallah. Yeah. Okay. With that, before we end the ceremony today, I would like to invite Yang Berbahagia Associate Professor Dr. Zulkifli Hassan to present a very special appreciation to Yang Berhormat Senator Datuk Ras Adiba Radzi for her contribution and time spent with us on this auspicious day. Okay, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our ceremony. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to take this opportunity to express our gratitude to Yang Berhormat Senator Datuk Ras Adiba Radzi for her willingness to attend and officiate the launching of the IIUM Disability Grant Awareness Campaign, or IDAG AC 2021. We really appreciate your presence, Datuk. Hope to see you again, inshallah, soon. Okay, we would like to apologize for any shortcomings and inconveniences. And I now would like to invite everyone, Dato, Dr. Zul, and everyone here to a very small lunch on the other side of the hall. Everyone is welcome. Thank you so much. Inshallah, we'll see each other again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, before we move to the lunch, we would like to invite all the recipients or the participants here today with disabilities to come forward and take a photo with Dato YB and also Dr. Zul. The parents can also join, yeah?